This is perfect. The Baltimore Ravens have just revealed their master plan, and it is going to be amazing this upcoming season. We're going to go ahead and dive into that in this video. What is going on, everyone? My name is Sam Stewart. Welcome to Ravens Digest, your number one source for everything Baltimore Ravens. Make sure you hit that subscribe button before we dive into this video. You're going to need to stay up to date with all the Ravens news information. We've got this offseason from camp. And then once the season gets rolling, we'll have pregame coverage and postgame analysis as well. So make sure you check out everything we've got going on this channel and hit that subscribe button. All right, everyone, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and dive into today's topic for this video, and that is running back Keaton Mitchell. Now, the Ravens have a great running back that you may have heard of, and his name is Derrick Henry. Now, with the addition of Derrick Henry to this Ravens football team last year, we saw a guy who, is a Saquon Barkley type player. What he did for the Eagles, the way he elevated them, the way he gave them that potential to take the next step up, that is what Derrick Henry did. And we saw that in the playoff game against the Steelers. Unfortunately, the Ravens couldn't get against the Bills, but you saw the instant elevation of this offense. You saw the way the passing attack opened up. You saw the way that Derrick Henry was able to dominate. There's very few players in the game, I think, besides Derrick Henry and Saquon that can have that type of impact right away. And it's interesting, we have seen those situations so close together in the NFL. I feel like it's rare you get a really big resurgence from running back in a different team, a different career at the same time, interestingly enough. So with Derrick Henry on the roster, we also have Keaton Mitchell. Now, the thing with Mitchell is, put up great numbers in 2023, and, was starting to progress as a player, a lot undrafted free agent out of East Carolina. I'm actually from and recording in North Carolina right now. I've seen ECU play several times. I knew this guy was a dog. This was a great pickup by GM Eric DeCosta, undrafted free agent. And with a season-ending injury in 2023, he comes back next year, of course, when Henry is signed, and he doesn't have the same kind of workload he did before Henry signed, and that's no big surprise. But, with Justice Hill as well, we've got a guy in Mitchell who is going to be the third option on the team. And when you have a guy like Derrick Henry, you don't necessarily need a three running back group. When you have a guy who's that dominant, you're going to give a lot of load to Derrick Henry. Let's go ahead and look at the statistics right now for the three running back core we've got last year for the Baltimore Ravens. So let's go ahead and pull that up now. So if you see rushing attempts last year, Henry is carrying a lot of that load. Like I said, 325 rushing attempts. And then, of course, the monster number over 2,000 yards over the course of the regular and postseason. And then you've got Justice Hill, 47 rush attempts. Still not a lot for a second guy, but very productive, 611 yards, 4.9 yards per attempt. And where does that leave our guy Keaton Mitchell with only 15 attempts over 5 games? When you have an explosive player like Mitchell, and this is a great point Anthony Lisari makes in this article, you need to capitalize on him in some way. And the move, to possibly put him at kick returner could be amazing. And I love the way that this gets brought up in this article. So let's go ahead and check out a couple quotes from it. In it, he cites Ravens reporter Ryan Mink. So I wanted to go ahead and look at what Mink has to say about this. So let's go ahead and check out this quote from Mink first. What helps Mitchell is that I expect him to become the Ravens' primary kick returner, which gives him a spot on the active game roster and puts him in a position to rip off big plays. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if Mitchell is in Pro Bowl contention last year, is in Pro Bowl contention as a returner this year. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at why Mink feels this way. Assuming Henry and Hill are both healthy, I don't think there's many offensive snaps for Mitchell week to week. I would estimate he would average maybe 5 per game, perhaps to give Henry or Hill a breather as a change of pace home run hitter. He could also be used as a gadget-type player on jet sweeps and end around. Mitchell is lightning in a bottle, so he could change a game even with limited snaps. If Henry and Hill were to miss any time, Mitchell would obviously be in prime position to make a much larger offensive impact. And then Ludasari has a great point as well. Mitchell returned 5 kicks for 156 yards in 2024, including a 47-yard gash with the sub 4.4 second speed in the burst to match Mitchell is an explosive play waiting to happen. Now, I also love how Mink brings up the idea of jet sweeps and rounds. In Jim Harbaugh, we have seen one of the great offensive minds of our time. We hear about guys like Andy Reid a lot, and how they're so creative. I mean, what Harbaugh has done with Lamar, how it's created, and DeCosta as well. It created this roster around Lamar. It's going to be very fun to watch because they do put all their players to use, and it's not a bad problem to have an explosive guy like Mitchell. In the article from DeCosta.Stay, he says that he even says that Mitchell wants to be remembered like a Devin Hester type. Don't kick the ball to that guy. Kick returns and punt returns are such big plays. We often forget about special teams when we talk about these sort of things. And to have a guy like Mitchell back there would be a huge boost. And I just want to point out as well, if we go ahead and look at the statistics once again, you have a guy in Derrick Henry who's going to be taking a lot of the workload. Now, Justice Hill could step up if Henry were to go down, God forbid. But it's a league where injuries do happen. Let's not act like they don't happen, especially at the running back position, especially at Henry's age. And I feel like Henry's game will be able to translate deeper and deeper into his career. But I just want to say that I think it's also a matter of the way that Henry runs, because it's not just, can this guy stay healthy? We're not sure. But it's his size and explosiveness. It doesn't just rely on speed. So even if that speed starts to drain or he does have an injury, he's going to be able to put up numbers for a long time. But if you can keep a guy like Mitchell to use on jet sweeps, to use on kick returns, because to be honest, I don't want to see another team. I mean, we're talking about the Saquon situation earlier, and that's the most egregious example. But here's the thing. They also gave him the Giants, or the Eagles rather, and I don't want to see Keaton Mitchell on another team. So I think it's great if they can keep him from making an impact on another team and use him, even though not in the traditional sense, maybe on some jet sweeps and kick returns, but still use him in an effective way and use that sub 4.4 speed, which even in the NFL is so rare. So let me know what you think of this new Ravens plan to use Mitchell as a kick returner in the comments. Do you think it is a good move to keep Mitchell, or do you think there could be some possible trade value for him? And do you think we're doing the most we can with him, keeping him at the kickoff spot? Or do you think we should even see more reps at running back? Let me know the answers to those questions in the comments, and keep it right here on Ravens Digest for all your news and updates. Once again, my name is Sam Stewart. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.